Hey guys, what's up? It's Matt. Sorry it's been a few days since I got a video. It's just been kind of busy at work. End of the month's a little bit crazy usually. So my last video I told everyone that I got my schedule for school starting in August. So really excited about that. In today's video I just wanted to talk about scheduling conflicts. So primarily this is going to be in relation to having a job, the stresses of full-time to part-time, or from working to not working at all if it has to go that extreme. So my current working situation is 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. I'm currently salaried. So anytime I go in a little early or have to stay late, or the occasional Saturday when I have to work, unfortunately I get paid the same, but it's a pretty modest salary. So for what it is, it does okay. But starting in August when I go back to school, I will no longer be able to maintain those hours and potentially this job that I even have. There's not really an opportunity or option to go part-time because it's kind of a critical position in my office. So so the stresses of then now trying to find a job with flexible hours while not taking a substantial pay decrease, and being able to balance that full-time workload with school versus a job. So pretty stressful. You know, I don't want to say it's not impossible. My wife worked through nursing school in retail, had pretty flexible hours and decent pay at the time. She didn't quite work 40 hours a week, but she did work you know, anywhere from 30 to 32 hours a week, so on that kind of cusp of high-houred part-time or the bare minimum, what's considered full-time. However, our situation back then didn't involve kids either, so it's really difficult for me to try to find something that doesn't sacrifice being able to afford to pay for everything we have. So I don't think I'm alone in this boat either. I'm definitely looking for advice on maybe what some other people have done and maybe something similar to my situation. At this point, I've been applying to some positions at any number of the hospitals we have locally. So there's like 4 or 5, not including the VA hospital. Trying to do anything, be it transportation, monitor teching, something that I can do. And unfortunately, there's tons of things like PCT positions. I'm not qualified to be a PCT though, and I'm not going to go to school to be a PCT while I'm trying to go to school to be an RT. This doesn't make any sense. So, so that's my current dilemma. I had a few decent opportunities lined up. It's just unfortunately once I got my schedule, it kind of nullified a lot of those because they were really good hours. They weren't flexible, but they were locked, but the hours would work with most schedules. And unfortunately, my therapeutics lab that falls on that Thursday that goes till 5 kind of knocked that one off the schedule because it needed to be Monday through Thursday from like 4 to 8. So guys, if you've been in a similar situation, you have any advice, I would definitely appreciate it. You know, I do have a ton of retail experience. I'm not super excited to consider having to go back to retail, considering the amount of stress levels usually like way up there. The pay is usually way down there. But if hours can work, you know, I definitely consider that. One other thing for me personally, so I kind of mentioned very briefly in my last video that, you know, if I had to work overnights, I would. And that brings out a new level of complications because my wife works in the GI lab for nursing at the hospital. So that means not only does she kind of have her standard 3 shifts a week, she also does do call shifts. And when she is on call, that basically puts her on this 24-hour rotation. So if she's on call a day she works, she's already working 12 hours in the lab. But then at any point she could stay late or get called in at any point until about 7 o'clock in the morning. So if I'm working overnights, makes it just hard for her if she's on call and I'm working overnight. That puts us in a real pickle as far as childcare. So that's a whole nother variable too to talk about. It's one thing when you're trying to balance work and school, but then you have work, school, and family, particularly childcare. If you have kids, you probably know that childcare is not cheap. Hey guys. Yeah, so I'm not really sure what's going on there with that video. It cut out short on me, so apologize. It's going to look like a really weird stitch here in the video. So I guess just to reiterate my point was childcare is very expensive. That's what I was kind of leading into there for a second. Around here, at least where I am, for decent childcare for a place that's rated well, you're talking about $100 to $150 a week. Now, my wife generally only works 3 days during the week, but call times or call shifts for her could vary. So